this morning, the president's birthday gift to himself seems to be a cleanup on aisle Trump, kind of, as he now says, of course he'd contact the FBI if a foreign government offered dirt on a campaign rival, but only after looking at it first.
Of course you have to look at it, because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you give it to the FBI. If I don't listen, you're not going to know. Now, if I thought anything was incorrect or badly stated, I'd report it to the Attorney General, the FBI. I'd report it to law enforcement. Absolutely. One thing that's different with the president. I had dinner with the Queen. I met with the Prime Minister of the UK. I was with the head of France. I was with the head of all these nations, and I constantly am talking to them. And, you know, that puts us in a different, we have many conversations. And I'm just thinking, gee, if they say, we don't like your opponent, am I supposed to put, the president of France, am I supposed to report him to the FBI? You know, I'm in a little bit of a different position.
We'll parse that, and the president also hitting back at House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's accusing him of being involved in a criminal cover-up.
It's a fascist statement. It's a disgraceful statement. I call her Nervous Nancy. She's a nervous wreck.
We've got our team here with this story and the many others we are bringing you over the next 60 minutes. Hans Nichols is at the White House. Leanne Caldwell is over on the Hill. Also joining us, former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade, Laura Barron-Lopez, national reporter for Politico, and Jeff Mason, White House correspondent for Reuters. Gang's all here on this Friday morning. And Hans, you're first up, lucky man, because President Trump was singing a bit of a different tune when he first talked about the idea of foreign interference in an election when asked by George Stephanopoulos on ABC. Watch.
You don't call the FBI. You throw somebody out of your office. You do whatever.
Al Gore got a stolen briefing book. He called the FBI.
Well, that's different. A stolen briefing book. This isn't a stolen. This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director.
But now, Hans, after pushback from some but not all Republicans, including his close pal Lindsey Graham, who's like, hey, president basically got to walk this back. President kind of is.
So it's either an evolution, Hallie, or an outright contradiction, depending what you think the president's triggers are for handing something over to the FBI. When you listen to what he said carefully this morning, he seems to be suggesting he'd only hand something over if it were false, if it were incorrect.
Right.
The president still hasn't answered the question. If he is given opposition research that's correct, that's accurate from a foreign power, would he hand it over to the FBI? And he still hasn't come clean on that. What he does seem to be saying is that the give me a break, which is yesterday's statements, to today's, which was absolutely not. Here's how he put it.
But of course you do that. You couldn't have that happen with our country, and everybody understands that. And I thought it was made clear. In fact, I actually said at the beginning, I think I said I'd do both.
So he had that 50-minute phone conversation dialing to Fox and Friends about 16, 18 hours ago. Hallie, you and I were here up in the West Wing in Sarah Huckabee Sanders' office. It is a reminder to whoever the next president's press secretary, whoever that person is going to be, they're actually going to be the deputy press secretary, because President Trump is his own press secretary. They will have to deal with a president that calls into morning shows and talks for 50 minutes and continues to evolve with his position. It is a heck of a challenge.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.